All right. So the next question I'm gonna bring from the last show too is I'm not sure who exactly said it, but it was one of y'all's kid. Every time one of y'all's kids gets killed by us, we divide ourselves into two groups. Who said that, and why do you believe that?
That was Kaiser. That was me. And here's the thing. I did say, yeah, y'all's kids, but initially, I believe I said anytime one of y'all, meaning any black person, not just kids in particular, because let's be honest, anytime a kid gets killed, that's just horrific. But in the context of black men getting killed by police officers, white people divide themselves into two groups, some saying that, he shouldn't have been doing that, and some saying, that's horrible, we need better cops. And it was in response to Brian saying that black people are the most empathetic people on the planet.
It's a fact, though. We don't even retaliate for what you guys have done.
You say you don't retaliate, but
Watts would beg to differ. So would L.A. So would parts of Maryland and parts of Missouri.
I believe if blacks were to act on what's just happened in recent history, everybody would be dead right now because it would be a bloody bath. But they don't respond because
everybody would be dead, but 12% of the population would be wiped the fuck out real quick.
Right. Yep. The thing about it is, the sad thing about black people that I don't like is that the majority of them are religious, and that threshold that holds them back is the only thing that prevents them from responding. Now, I'm not racist against individual white people. I just don't fuck with white supremacy. White supremacy as a whole is an issue, not white people.
So let's stay on the topic. The question you could respond how you want to it, Brian. It's every time one of y'all's kids get killed by one of us, we divide ourselves into two groups. And I don't think he meant, I don't know, whatever. But
he didn't say by us, he said by the police, by the way.
That is, yeah, by the police. Yeah,
these guys are consciously racist. I don't know if they're consciously racist, but they're at least subconsciously racist. Meaning, like, they may not mean any harm, but they're in a mindset where they don't know what's disrespectful because they know what disrespects them, but they don't take a person's word for it when they say what disrespects them. So if I say something offensive, he can tell me that offends him.
That's racist as fuck.
Right. I didn't hear that last part.
I said that he was saying that black people are more empathetic than white people. That is a racist statement. So the only person who made a racist statement in the last show would be you guys.
No, I think one of you guys did make a racist statement. Somebody said, "Show me how to season my chicken."
Yeah, I heard that in the background too.
Yeah, I did say that.
That was very.
Isn't that like a common dig at white people? I get
that.
Yeah,
that is. I've gotten that quite a few times.
Sorry, let's stay on.
Somebody called me a cave beast earlier.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, hold on. Let's stay on topic. Unfuckwittable. What do you think about that statement, or how do you feel about it?
Can you repeat the statement? I mean,
every time one of us get killed by police, we divide ourselves into two groups.
When you say we divide ourselves into two groups, what are the groups that we talk about?
White America, yeah.
So you
just white people? Hold on.
Let me clear that up. Hold on. You were just talking about white people dividing themselves into two groups?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure that's what the statement. Kaiser, you can clarify it, but I'm pretty sure that's what the statement.
Well, see, and here's the tricky thing about this so-called government or system. I mean, this whole thing is based off of divide and conquer, and they know the more divided the people are, the more that they can come in and conquer. So, yeah, I mean, I do agree with this statement. I mean, that's the whole point of them doing what they do and also displaying it in the media. You know what I'm saying? That's the whole point of what they do. And then they know people are going to go in and share it on social media, which really links everybody together, links everybody together. And then you're going to have a widespread debate on who was right or who was wrong, why he shouldn't have got shot or why he should have got shot. And then, it's just a mess. It's chaotic. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, I get the thing of, bringing chaos out of order or bringing order out of chaos, should I say. Like, I get that, but I mean, we all know that's why the main saying is everybody know this phrase, divide and conquer. The
Oh,
more
for sure.
divided people are, the more you can conquer them. So, I mean,
I agree with that. I don't think that anybody really misses that point. I think that's where I think that was kind of my main point, and that's where I really wanted to get to in the last show. We never got to get to it. Was that there's a divide and conquer mechanism that happens between white and black America, Hispanic America, whatever it may be, and it's just driven forward by the media. It's driven forward by the status quo, and by individual white people or individual black people taking this stance of, oh well, all white people, all black people, fuck this, blah blah blah. We're only perpetuating that standard. I agree with you on that. I agree with that. There's a divide and conquer, and as long as we are divided, as long as we are fighting each other, we're not actually paying attention to the real fucking problem, right?
I want to get your opinion on this. How do you feel about? What was your opinion about the Trayvon Martin situation? Do you think he was rightfully killed or was he wrongfully murdered?
Trayvon Martin, he was the one that was killed. Oh, okay, yeah. Trayvon Martin, he was the one that was killed in the back of the freaking transport, right? With a broken neck.
He was killed by
Trayvon Martin was killed by the Mexican dude.
George Zimmerman.
Oh no. Okay, yeah. That was the community fucking security guy or whatever. Yeah. I don't know, man. It's real hard to tell on that. I don't think that necessarily it was some fucking, like, everybody makes it out to be like, oh, it was some crazy racist thing. The guy's Hispanic. He saw some kid that he saw was, as an issue. The guy fought him and he had to pull his gun. I don't know. I can't make heads or tails of it. I'm not one to say that anybody was.
Well, the story said that old boy was just walking home, Trayvon Martin, and the dude kept following him. And I mean, this was actual footage. They had actual recording, and the dude just kept following him, even though old boy was just walking through the community.
No, you're mistaken. There's no footage of that.
No, not footage. A recording. There's a recording. There is a recording
by the police.
No, you can go research that.
Where what's his name? Zimmerman was calling the police, right?
The police told him not to follow the boy and leave him alone.
No, I agree with that. No, I was just about to say that. The police told him not to engage, not to follow him. I think it's a combination of this guy being over
as a boy being followed. As a boy being followed. I'm sorry. As a boy being followed. So, if you're being followed by somebody, what if you're scared? And then this guy.
What I wanted to get to with that question is, he was acquitted. So, would that system work in a white situation? If that boy was white, would he have been acquitted?
But the guy, so you're putting it in a white and black, but there was no white person.
But I'm saying it is a white and black issue still because George Zimmerman's half white.
No. Okay, well, Obama's half white. That don't make no sense. It don't matter.
I'm saying based off the legal system. The legal system.
Based off the legal system, that dude is a fucking Hispanic. Look at him, right?
Nah, not his race. Based off the legal system, would he been convicted if the boy was white?
Who knows?
No. I would say I agree with Kaiser. Who knows? But I would say that most likely, based on the evidence put forward, where you're because you can look at all the stuff leading up to it, right? And we can go on who's to blame, yada yada yada. But at the point where the guy is on the ground and he's got a dude on top of him smashing his head in the concrete, he pulled his gun and shot him. White, black, no, whatever. He has a right to defend himself.
That's just can I tell you how weak that is? If I was getting into it with a little boy that was 100 pounds smaller than me.
Little boy, have you seen that dude? That dude ain't no little boy.
He's actually dead now.
Martin was like 6 feet tall, dude.
Yeah, that was a 6 foot tall fucking dude going up against a 5 foot something guy, and he had him, and he was on his back, and the dude was on top of him, smashing his head in the concrete. Come on now.
Zimmerman, I thought Zimmerman was bigger than Trayvon.
No, Zimmerman. No, Zimmerman was way shorter. Zimmerman was like maybe 5'8", 5'9", little short guy. Okay,
What if following someone?
Zimmerman was way bigger than that dude. Like he was way bigger. That boy didn't even have his grown man body yet.
All
man, I don't know, dude. It's
Are
one
you
of those
looking
things
at?
where
Are you,
I'm not designed like that. I don't know what it is to be so weak that a little boy could beat me up. So I don't know how to be scared like
that's
that.
what I'm saying. I don't either. That's what I'm saying. But
but he
given the
wasn't a little
situation,
boy, man.
given the situation where you had a dude on top of you smashing your head in the concrete, you
Me
pull your
getting
firearm and shoot on him, you're justified.
Hey, whether I like you or not, if me and you got into a fight, I'm not gonna try to kill you. Okay? Like I don't have
Yeah,
the
I get that. But the thing is that and that's like I think Trayvon's one of those cases that that really kind of edges on the fence. You can take it in multiple different ways. But at the end of the day, if the guy's on top of you smashing your head in the concrete, you pull your firearm, you're justified under the U.S. law, regardless of white, black, whatever color you are.
Only in Florida.
Hold on 1 second. Hold on 1 second. Trayvon Martin is 5'11" and George Zimmer is 5'7".
There you go.
What's the weight? What's the weight?
He's dead. I don't know.
No, what's the weight of George Zimmerman?
He's some fat Hispanic. I have no clue.
I said how much did he weigh?
I don't know.
I think at the time he weighed like 180 pounds. He wasn't that big. He gained some weight recently.
Okay, wasn't Trayvon Martin?
At the time, he was he gained a lot of weight. At the time, he was pretty skinny, but like I think that the U.S. I think that you got to boil that down to the end of the day, where if under the U.S. law, U.S. standards, we have a right to defend ourselves. We have a Second Amendment. We have a right to bear arms. And if you are on the ground with a dude on your back smashing your head in the ground and you think your life is in danger, you have a right.
Trayvon Martin should have shot him if he had a gun, then is what you're saying. Because George Zimmerman approached Trayvon Martin. So you're saying if I felt that this dude was a threat, he came over and grabbed me up, regardless of what race he is. If he came and grabbed me up, if I had a gun, I could have shot him and it would have been justified.
I agree. Yes.
Oh, okay. Yep. All right. I'm just making sure we're on the same page then.
No, we're on the same page. Dude, I tell you, that's one of those cases that had me like
it was
really
a coin toss.
That's one of those cases that had me looking for the facts, like what really happened, because there was a lot of media, like we talked about earlier. There's a lot of media kind of misconstruing. Like I was really looking for the facts, like what really happened, what was the best information we could gather. Because obviously we had the call information from Zimmerman on the phone, and we had some contradictory information from witnesses supposedly. So it was really hard to make heads and tails of that. But I'm not one to say, hey, this black guy, he should be shot, right? I'm 100% like everybody, white, black, Hispanic, Asian, whatever. You got a right to defend yourself, and he should have never approached him in the first place, right? But that's all that him shouldn't approach him in the first place goes out the window when the dude's on top of you smashing your head in the concrete.
It doesn't. No, it doesn't, because it's called cause and effect, not effect and cause. It's cause then effect. It's a causal situation.
So if it was reversed, you'd be okay with it. If
what I'm saying to you is like we're basically stating, but if I agree with you. If you feel your life is in danger and you're being attacked, you should.
One of y'all background is kind of loud. I'm not sure who it is.
Okay. Hold on.
I do hear that. I don't know what that is.
Hold on 1 second.
I'm watching TV. Sounds good.
Right. HD.
Is that better?
Somebody got cable on this guy. Somebody got cable. I don't have cable. Wait, what do I do?
What I'm trying to say is, I agree with what Hallie was saying with respect to what you're saying, that Trayvon Martin, if he had a gun, he should have had the right. He should have shot that dude for following him because he feared for his. You don't start a problem and then get mad because it started. You caused it. You know what I'm saying? You don't justify your action after the fact and be like, well, I shot him because even though I was wrong for following him and scaring him and putting him in a fearful situation, I was right for shooting him. No, you were wrong for what you did. So
even if you're wrong for approaching him and telling him, hey, whatever he may have said to him, right? at the end of the day, when the dude's getting
there's a grown ass man versus a little boy.
Jesus, man.
Yeah, your
Like I
voice
said,
is
somebody
super
close-
loud. Who's that? Najari, you back in? Your voice is super loud.
Like I said with Trayvon, if Trayvon would have been a legal fucking gun owner and he would have had a fucking piece on him, and that guy approached him out of the fucking blue and put his hands on him, he had the right to shoot him. I'm 100% behind that.
How do you feel about
That's a
this?
17-year-old boy.
How do you feel
Jesus.
about
That was
this?
a 7-year-old boy versus a grown man. Come
How
on.
do you feel about this? Illegal
happy-
immigrants right now that are able to actually serve in the military, but then now ICE is deporting them out of the country after they haven't served in the military.
They can't
That's
serve
kinda
in the
weird.
military. They can't serve in the military legally as an illegal citizen.
But they have. Some of them have.
No,
No,
with
but
it,
you
not
have
not
are-
legally, not legally, unless they're using forged documents. They are not legally
I don't
serving the
know,
military.
but I seen on the news a few people that were in the military that were serving get deported.
Okay, so I can explain this one. So what it is, they're not illegal immigrants. They're legal. They have legal status, i.e., a green card, and they're serving in the military. But when their legal status ends, they get deported. I think that's incredibly wrong. By the way, I'm not for that. If you're serving this country, then you should be fast tracked to citizenship. But
once you've served the country and you've done that duty of serving the country, 100% you should be fast tracked and you shouldn't be getting deported. I'm rolling with Kaiser on that for sure.
I roll with that too. That was a good one.
Anybody else want to speak on that one?
That's a damn shame.
But that's the issue is that we have 40 million people here illegally, so it's real hard to fucking differentiate.
Brian?
We got white people here illegally.
There ain't no
White people-
We got white people here illegally.
How many?
Ask the Native Americans.
Here illegally.
Ask the Native Americans. I think the Native
They
Americans.
didn't have a legal system by which for us to be illegal.
That has nothing to do with it. You wasn't invited. You wasn't invited here.
Okay, hold up.
Show me your invitation. I'll wait.
Yo, hold on a second. He mocked
It's
this
illegal,
really
but not
well.
a legal system. That's an oxymoron. It makes no fucking
Show me
sense.
your invitation.
be
I don't
illegal.
care.
Yo. It's three people talking. Only one person at a time.
Just calm the pace down. Just chill out with the pastiness, man, please.
Go ahead, Nebjari, what you were saying?
It's simple. They wasn't invited here. Every place that I've been to, as far as so-called Native American, they don't like these people. They want you to fuck out of here. That's all I hear. When I went to Japan, no matter where I live in Nippon, I went to Japan to find out it's called Nippon. It's not even called Japan. It's called Nippon. And the people that live there are called Nihong Jin. I'm talking. The people that are there are called Nihong Jin. They're called Nihong. And they call other people Gaijin. I live in so many other places. They hate you. That's all I got to say.
Obviously, you don't like white people. We understand.
No. It's not about that. I like or don't like. No. Listen. And hey, I'm not disagreeing or agreeing with you. I'm saying I have no shame about it. But what I'm telling you is, everywhere I've been all over the planet, it's the same attitude. And I used to think that maybe it was.
One thing I could say though.
Let me talk.
Is
I used to think it was just me. It was just. I used to think it was
every white person in the same boat, man.
Did it? I have it.
You are.
I have it. No, the people that I'm talking to on here, I'm talking to them. And then I'm talking to the people that it relates to. There's plenty of people, like I said, I named the other night about Noam Chomsky, Peggy McIntosh, and a couple of other people, if you were listening, that have nothing to do with that. They've written books about this. This is not something we have to debate over back and forth. It's already known. It's documented. We could call, maybe somehow find and call Michelle Alexander and talk about the things that we
Noam Chomsky is a Jew. He's not white, so
I don't care what he is or what he's not. And thank you for pointing that out, because that's even deep. Thanks for digging that hole even further in your grave. But I'm saying,
I feel that we can't combat hate with hate, though, bro. Honestly,
because
I feel where you're coming from.
And that's
where you're coming from as far as like the oppression that certain individuals did around the world.
Let's say I do. Let's say
I agree with that guy.
Let's say I do hate. My hate. Let's say if I do hate, I never said I hated anybody, but let's say I do hate. My hate can't compare to the actual actions of people who do hate or go when you cane people, when you feed children to alligators, and when you make a system all over the world that does what it does and mistreat people because of skin color. That's totally different than hate. You
But
going
bro, they can't be punished for what their ancestors did.
I'm not saying what their ancestors did.
You talking about the Japanese? You know, the Japanese attacked us first at Pearl Harbor, right? So the Japanese are fucking.
So I got a question.
Japanese
I got a question.
are fucking reaping what they sow.
Oh, Rory, I haven't talked.
Of the people. I like you because you try to play on the ignorance of the people, but anybody that knows about what happened between that knows that the United States made a threat by cutting off their oil supply.
Why should we be? Why should we be fucking? Why should we be responsible for giving them oil? Right?
That you was giving them oil.
Okay. So
what are you talking about? Why do you keep? You know what? It was funny. You keep painting these pictures, but the brush you got have no hairs in it. Like I don't know why you keep
the pictures of the list.
If I'm wrong, then please tell me where I'm wrong at.
To say you most definitely not Bob Ross.
All right, let Yosef go.
I'm
beautiful, man. So I look like Bob Ross.
I got a question. So my last name is yeah. So my last name is Ozia. Like I don't come from descendant from slaves. This is Ozia.
I don't care what you're from, but go ahead.
Hold on. Yo. Shh.
Don't
Hey, man.
Hey, hold on. Y'all ain't gotta do all that. Hey, just one person at a time. One person at a time.
Trying to hear my homeboy with that bullshit.
Yo, that's keeping respectful though. That's keeping respectful. Come on.
Hey, guys.
Arizona.
Hey.
Let him speak.
We all good?
Let him speak. Let him go ahead.
All right. I love all you guys.
After you can come in.
Come on. Love all you guys. We're getting a little heated, but I'm having fun. So, this is the argument I make, and this is the reason why I choose to love instead of hate. My family comes from descendant of slave sellers in Africa. This is something I look at myself. We sold slaves to white people. Therefore, if my family sold slaves to white people that went to Africa, went to America, should I be held responsible for what my ancestors did for selling other blacks into slavery to America?
Who said that?
No.
Oh man, why are you bringing it up? Because you saying that's not even a topic. Why are you saying that?
Bro? You're getting emotional, bro. The reason why I'm saying that.
What I'm doing, I'm asking you a question.
Hold on. You had a 10.
Yo. Can't hear y'all.
Let him get to his conclusion before cutting him off. Come on.
So if we have to have white people for whatever the ancestors did way back then, it wasn't like white people went to Africa and just start picking up slaves. It's fucking impossible. It's Africa. I've been to Africa a bunch of times. It's impossible. As a European can't just go to Africa and start lassoing black people. They were sold into slavery from other blacks.
Get out of here. This nigga's a coon.
Yo, B.
Exactly. You see that?
Come on, man.
Once motherfuckers start speaking the truth, they like, oh, he's a coon. He's a fucking Uncle Tom.
Right, come on,
motherfucker
man.
can't speak the truth.
You don't care about black people.
Let him finish.
What's the African word for slavery?
Be honest. You do not care about black people. All you care is about hating white people. That's all you care about is hating white people. I'm actually telling you.
Okay, let's say that's true. Okay, so now what?
Then you're a fucking coon. If you hate all you care about hating white people, you're a fucking coon. You're a coon.
So I'm a coon. So now what?
Then I don't know.
Say after that. Don't want the end result.
Right, come on.
Like I said the other day, you don't want the end result of white people chipping out.
That's what I'm saying right there. There you go. Thank you. So when I see you on site, you know what it is. So like I said,
you're cool.
Stop. Everybody stop. I'm about to end it. Hey,
no, it's not a threat.
I'm about to end
You are
the show.
chipping out. You're aping the fuck out. If you're gonna see me and act like a fucking monkey, yes, you're chipping out.
I will see you and I act like a white monkey.
Whatever. You're chipping out.
All right.
You chipping out on me. You dumb on. That's
let's keep it on point. We've been doing good. Let's keep it on point.
You mad?
So, next question I want to
ask. You mad because you
Hold on.
Hey.
It's no monkey.
Hey, for real though.
He's giving a question.
I didn't even finish my point. I'm gonna call a coon. I know.
Hey,
But I
So
think
obviously that one is
Khalid,
going too
give me a
far. Let's
question.
go ahead and move on to the next question.
all right, whatever.
Next question, I want to know: is and should Europe be considered a continent, and why? Go ahead, Terry. We'll let you start.
My laugh should let you know. That's I'm laughing.
So you want to let
I'm laughing.
somebody else first? All right,
Somebody
Rory, Kaiser,
that's that.
or Yosef, or who's that? We'll go with the two from the last that brought that up. So either Rory or Kaiser, whoever wants to go first.
I'll open up on that. Yeah, fucking, of course, Europe's the continent. You're divided by mountain ranges. You're divided by people. You're divided by culture. It's the same thing as North and South America are divided by continents, but we're still connected by landmass.
That's
It doesn't
bullshit.
matter that you're connected by
Two different
landmass.
continents.
Are you gonna let me fucking
Hey,
Hold on,
shut
let
the
them
speak?
finish.
You're
fuck
gonna interrupt
up.
me every
Hold on,
goddamn
hey,
time.
look, I'll do the clearing up because I don't want no back and forth. So just let them finish and then we'll come in. But don't just don't. Just keep it cool, and then you can go next.
So
But you just
obviously,
cut them off so it don't get offensive when you cut them off.
so you can divide the European continent by culture and people. You can divide it by mountain ranges. You can divide it by tectonic plates. However you'd like to do it. But it's the same way that the American continents are split between North and South. Is that there's a difference between people. There's a difference between fucking tectonic plates. If you're a scientifically minded person, you understand that tectonic plates play a difference between continents and people, and the differentiation between people. That's all I got to say about that.
Bullshit.
Young Fit, how you feel about it?
I believe Europe should be a continent, and I like the way they have no guns over there too, so people ain't getting shot left and right. I think we should adopt that. Get rid of the Second Amendment.
Let them finish. Let them finish.
I think the Second Amendment is bullshit. If we didn't have guns, people would be get shot. I read
We didn't have gangsters. People wouldn't get shot.
because their police don't even have guns out there, so they just billy clubbing people.
That's why they get run off by the people.
Right. So you have more of a chance of survival out there by getting approached by the police. So that's one of the things I like about Europe. That their guns is gone.
Fuck Wittable.
I'm sorry. What's the question again?
Do you consider Europe to be a continent? Basically.
I mean, I don't know. It's honestly, it's kind of hard for me to even really engage in that question because it's not. I mean, I don't really give a fuck, honestly. So that's my. Just to be honest with you,
That's a great answer.
It don't really make or break me whether it's a continent or not.
That's a great answer. I like that guy.
All right.
We don't apply to him.
Yosef?
Should Europe be considered a continent?
Yeah.
I mean, it's all depending on the definition of a continent. If it have all the traits of and characteristics of a continent, then yes. If it doesn't, then no. It all depends on what is the current definition of a continent. Because like when I was a kid, Pluto was a planet, but based off the new standards, Pluto is no longer a planet. So it's all depend. How do we judge what is a continent or
not? Kaiser?
Yeah, it's obviously a continent. I mean, if we even look at the definition of continent, it's a continent is one of several very large land masses of the world. So there's the textbook definition of continent, and then if we look at Europe itself, we can see that Europe is located entirely in the northern hemisphere, mostly in the eastern hemisphere. It's bordered by the Arctic Ocean to the north and the Atlantic Ocean to the west, and the Mediterranean Sea to the south. All right, so very clear borders set up for Europe, showing that it is in itself a continent.
Thanks for reading that definition.
Jari?
Right. Thanks for reading that definition right out of the Google. You searched Google and read that definition verbatim.
That
That's
came
hilarious.
from my chat, buddy.
No, Europe is a continent located entirely in the northern hemisphere, mostly in the eastern hemisphere. You just read that. I just pulled that up as you was reading, bro. But
Hey,
anyway,
that's from my chat.
anyway. Okay, okay. Let's go.
Hold up. Go ahead.
I'm talking.
Nejari,
I'm talking. Yeah, exactly. I'm talking. I just read it. I ought to take a screenshot. I wish I could take a screenshot and post it. You just read that. You just read that. That's hilarious. I'm just gonna leave that like that. But if you
So
look
what
at
it
the
is?
earth itself,
Like,
so
are we
what you
arguing
mean,
about
so what?
definitions?
The truth is not up for
Definition
debate.
of a
The facts ain't
content.
up for debate. So the fact that you read that lets me know. That's all I need to know. You just
All right,
thank you.
can we
Thank
move
you.
on while you
Hey,
get mad
thank
All
you.
right,
definitions?
Thank you.
Nejari,
Thank you. Look at the map. Look at a map and look at the earth itself.
Nejari, do you consider it to be a continent?
Of course not.
Why?
Of course not. You can't just make something up and say what it is. When you look at that map, it's connected to a whole continent called Asia.
Meets the definition of a continent.
I don't. The definition. Oh, okay. You want to go by the Yankee definition versus the actuality. When you look at a continent, if you look at
Actuality of
the Earth,
definition.
there are no borders. There are no borders on the planet. There are no borders whatsoever. They're imaginary,
That's the
and it
fucking
depends on
ocean.
culture. And it depends on the culture. It depends on the culture, and the culture depends on. Let's say you have a nomadic culture, so the borders are going to change. So, when you go by European, I guess you could say European or Western standards, then the borders are made by a conquest and imaginary political aspects. So that's a totally different thing. So I guess it's whatever's relative. But
Yeah.
anyway, but yeah, nothing. So what I'm telling you is I don't recognize what you're talking about, and what you're talking about is after the fact. The truth is there are no continents per se in that sense. Europe is not a continent in a true sense. No, it's not. It's not a.
So
It's not a body. It's not a body. I'm talking.
Europe is
I'm
not
talking.
a continent.
I'm talking, white boy.
Hey, no,
talking-
there are no
I'm talking.
continents at all.
I'm talking.
Hey, you're a motherfucking retard.
I'm talking. I mean, if you want,
I don't give a shit if you're talking. You're
if you want to
fucking
get really real,
stupid.
if you want to get really,
Let him finish and then we'll move on.
you can camouflage your porcelain. But anyway, at the end of the day, if you was to remove the water off the planet, what?
Come on, man. Stop being so where you coming from, but at the same time, don't push buttons, man. Come on, bro.
You don't know what I'm telling you. Okay, I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this real clearly. You don't understand the condescending tone that they have, that they're speaking to you with. So you don't understand where I'm coming from.
Can you stop being offended on behalf of everybody else? You just want to be offended, my dude. You sound like you just want to be offended.
I'm talking.
Excuse me, sir. I'll be offended on behalf of you guys. I will be.
Let him finish, y'all. Let him finish.
I'll be the most.
Let him finish.
Come on, let's move on. We're gonna move on to the next one. So the next question is
nothing of worth.
All right, this is gonna be the last question because I'm getting tired of this shit. So the next question is should we be more concerned about school shootings or gang shootings?
Gang shootings.
Gang shootings for sure.
School shootings.
School shootings don't affect as many people. So I think that you look at the predominantly amount of affected people.
Do you live in a place with gangs at? Do you live in a gang?
Let's answer one by one. Go on.
Yeah, let them finish. Let them finish.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Rory.
You
You started off.
You want me to go? I'll go. So the amount of people affected by gang shootings is astronomically, massively larger than school shootings. Obviously, school shootings are still a problem. We should still deal with that. We should still look at the issues, and we should still get to the root of it, and we should still solve that problem. I'm not saying that they're not a thing and that we shouldn't solve those problems. But if you look at gang shootings, the amount of people murdered, the amount of people dead at the end of the day, right? If the death toll is what we're looking at, the amount of people dead at the end of the day, gang shootings by far. There's more people shot in Chicago fucking every goddamn weekend than there is in fucking a school shooting. Like, we should definitely 100% be looking at at gang shootings. Yes, school shootings, like I said, are a problem. How do we solve that? How do we get to the root of that? Right? But at the end of the day, fucking gang shootings, there's in Chicago alone, not accounting fucking Detroit, not accounting all these other fucking cities, LA, counting all these other fucking cities that this affects. 100%. We should be looking at how do we solve the issue of gang violence in this country, because that is the massive amount. Like he commented earlier on gun violence. But if you look at the amount of gun violence that is gang crime versus the amount of violence and the amount of gun crime and the amount of gun deaths that are contributed to legal gun owners, which is literally statistically zero, then we have a serious fucking problem. We should find the problem. We should find the answer to that issue.
All right.
Unfuckwittable.
I now see this one is kind of tricky here because see, in the gangs, you feel me, it's kind of a life that you chose. Now, if we want to compare the number of deaths of innocent people that are not in gangs and are being murdered, that's one thing. But the people that's being murdered that's inside of gangs, that's the life they chose. So to me, those deaths don't really count in a sense to compare it to the school shootings because now, okay, if you go to the hood, right, you know more than likely, okay, this a bad neighborhood. Motherfuckers get shot over here. Damn, maybe I should stay away over here. When you go to school, you're going to get a education, right? You're going to get taught by teachers and shit. You're not expecting to get fucking shot. So in that sense, I'm gonna say the school shootings is more detrimental because I know I can keep my kids from going to that bad neighborhood. I can do that. I can't keep my fucking kids from not going to school without getting arrested and shit.
Many people can.
So all I'm saying is, I get it that the gang violence has more deaths or whatever, but for the gang bangers that do end up dying, that's the life they chose. The innocent people that die in gang violence, that's something totally different.
Which is exponentially more than the school shooters, even if you're talking about.
Yeah, well, let me finish, bro. Let me finish because I didn't cut you off. So
no, I apologize. Go ahead.
The innocent people that die in gang shootings or gang violence or whatever, compared to the school shootings, it's like two separate categories for me. You know what I mean? So it just in my opinion, you don't got to agree with it. Just in my opinion, the school shootings is more, I would worry about the school shootings more. I'm worried about my sons. I got 3 sons. I'm worried about them dying more at school than them dying in fucking gang violence. I'll say that much.
Young Fit.
Okay. I'm agreeing with, the school shootings is more of an issue to me too. Based off the fact that, if you ain't in a gang, you can pretty much I'm not going on out there, and any individual that put their family in that situation is a fool. You're going to expect, that's like I'm moving to Iraq in the middle of a war. That's stupid as hell. You know what I'm saying? So you have a conscious choice to be in those areas, willingly or unwillingly, because you chose to live over there. You don't have to live over there. You can live anywhere you want in the United States of America. They don't pinpoint, hey, you have to stay over there. You have to stay over there. So with schools, it's something different. You do have to get an education. You don't have to go to any, you can choose what school you go to, but it's like an innocent situation. You in class, there's an active shooter popping off. It's like, damn, what the hell? I didn't even pick on that dude. And you get shot in the back. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like, I think the school shootings is kind of like crazy. I wouldn't even just say school shootings. I'll just say these massive shootings, period. If it's at a school, if it's at a fucking festivity, it's just a problem. Like, people just shooting random people, like, for no reason that had nothing to do with nothing. Like, even that Las Vegas situation, like, nobody did anything to this man or these individuals or whatever the case may tick them off. Why aren't you going after people that's with the business? Like, you got a problem? Go after other people with guns. Make it an even playing ground. Gang members make it an even playing ground because you join the gang. Of course, that other gang member got a gun, so I'm shooting at him. You know what I'm saying? He's shooting back at me. So, you go to war, there's like rules and regulation to war. You know what I'm saying? So with school shootings, it's all no holds barred. It's like you killing kids. You know what I'm saying? You killing innocent people, and when civilians get involved in shit, it's all tragic. You know what I mean? That's why, there's rules of engagement with war. It's like women and children is off the list, but these school shootings, they killing kids, it's crazy.
Yosef?
Oh, yo. Well, that's a difficult question to really answer. I'm gonna do my best. If I believe if you truly care about brown and black bodies, you should care about my gang shooting because gang shootings affect disproportionately black people and brown people. And with school, and with school shootings, I believe a lot of times because school shooting is going down as a whole, just shooting overall is going down as a whole, and we have a media that is quick to blast whoever have a shooting, and it could be even when earlier this I did a video on this where they say that we had 22 mass shootings are this year already, and I looked up the stats, and it was pretty much any time, or it was 22 school shootings already. Is that it was anytime a gun go off near a school, and that's how the media portrayed it. That's how they say they got that number, and then they got called out, but they didn't give a flying fuck. So with gang shootings, it's just not just black people shooting black people. The question, the real question is why we have black people shooting black people, and how did we get here? What policies made it to this point, and what can we do to get out of this situation? So that's what with gang shooting, we're not asking the right question. We just say, how can we stop gang shooting? Where we say, well, how do we get to this point? That's really what we should be asking. And also with school shooting, we should really be asking is, why do the media go all over whenever we have a school shooting and blast these things out? Because it has been shown time and time again that whenever you have a school shooting and you blast it out, you get this copycat effect where other people see that and they say, well, I'm going to do it because I'm going to get popular. Because the thing about the one in Florida, the guy, he wanted to become famous. He said, I'm going to be famous. I'm going to be on the news. And the media did exactly that. They made him famous. So that's really how I see it on the situation. Because for me, it was personally me. I believe that if you're a good, law-abiding black person, you should have a gun. I have multiple guns in my house. My auntie got a gun. There's a gun under my bed. There's a gun under my auntie. She lives upstairs. There's a gun behind her fucking rocking chair. It's a rifle behind the rocking chair. She got a gun in her purse. Well, girl, I go to the shooting range. So if you need to protect yourself, I think you should have the right to protect yourself if you're a law-abiding person. And those brothers that's really lost and looking for a way to express brotherhood or kinship, we should try to do something to really challenge that to something more useful. Because I'm the first person. I'll tell people if you sell weed on the street or you sell cocaine, you're an entrepreneur. If you know how to get your inventory, make your market up properly, have a profit, and maybe live off that, why can't you do that with something else? And you really have that mindset of really channeling the skills you have to something more effective.
Hey, this is a nigga right here. That was some nigga shit you just said right there. He just earned his black card back. If you selling weed, I think you're an entrepreneur. Straight up.
He got out of the fucking house nigga status, right? He was like, right. Oh, yeah, right?
Yeah, let's watch who's saying that N-word there. I want to make sure everybody who's saying it is
I'm a free American. I say what I want.
Yeah. It's a funny thing, I was going to tell Rory earlier because some black asshole was blowing at me. And I was in my car, it was dark, and I felt like just saying the N-word with the hard R just to fuck with his brain. Just to mess with him.
No, that's cool. I thought it was one of the people who aren't black.
That's right.
Yeah, it's all good.
Kaiser.
But that's really, so it's something I really think about a lot lately. Because I'm into politics and I look really deeply on policies, not on what Trump doing, but what happened in the past really 20 years. And when Trump got elected, I actually sat down for like a good month and how the fuck did we get here? And looking at the timeline of the culture and the policies and what have been going past is like I'm not even surprised.
Brian, didn't you vote for Trump?
Ryan left the call a long time ago. Kaiser, school shootings or gang shootings?
Well, I mean, let's be honest. School shootings are tragic, right? It's tragic that they happen, and it's horrible. But in terms of what's worse, what's affecting more people, obviously gang shootings. America doesn't really have a gun problem. We have a gang problem. I mean, if you took Baltimore, Chicago, Philly, Detroit, New Orleans out, of our gun violence statistics, America drops dramatically to like 193 in terms of lists with the most gun violence.
That's crazy.
So, yeah, it's insane.
Yeah, so, it's crazy. So, really, my challenge for everybody in this chat is, because it's something I'm challenging. Like I said, my auntie, she's a Republican, and she see that I'm a good role model. Is what can we do to actually really knock at this gang problem? Because I agree to some of the points that a lot of other black guys in here says that this is an internal problem, and I believe that too long we have been trying to externally vote or legislate things to help out the black community when it's something that we really need to internally see what have we gone wrong, point where have we gone wrong, and go back and turn really drastically turn there to actually fix this gang problem that we have in the black community. Because it's not like it came out of nowhere. If you really look at the past, I would even say the past 60 years, it was going to happen eventually.
All right. Nebjari, school shootings or gang shootings? Nebjari, can you hear me? All right. Going once, going twice. All right. Anybody want any words y'all want to get out on your way out? Nothing offensive.
I just want to say, I appreciate the conversation. I want to say I appreciate the conversation. Everybody coming on here, and speaking their piece. As grown men, we got to learn how to have an open dialect conversation without, push buttons and everything like that. Definitely, I like the way No Fuckwittable, handled itself.
Can you hear me?
It's a way you can get your piece across without, knocking down the next man. So that's what we got to learn how to do, because if we can't do it over, how are we going to do it over in person?
All right, let Nebjari answer. Did you hear the question before we go out?
I got one question for everybody. I got one question.
Hold on. Let him answer. He didn't get to answer the school shootings or gang shootings yet. So you can ask it.
For what I know about school shootings and gangs, I'm gonna say school shootings have been the most effective on another level. As far as gangs, I've seen that control from too many different directions. As far as me knowing the people or knowing people of that nature, and it's as simple as having a conversation, and you can disperse things like that. But most of the school shooters, they've been people like I don't know how to talk to or handle, because they've been situations where they're supposed to I guess they're supposed to be white males. Most of them are white males that come from certain type of, I don't know how to identify with that, but I can identify with a person, and it's not because they're black. First of all, when it comes to gangs, my affiliation with gangs as far as negativity has to do with white gangs. It has nothing to do with black gangs. But when you use the term gangs in America, it has something to do with, first of all, you think of black people. And that's what I'm saying. It's like, that's what I was saying a long time ago or earlier, or however you want to say it. I can't talk to white people or Americans about that, because it's what they stick with. They're already coming from a racist point of view. So, but me personally, as far as gangs, my experience is bad things with gangs is like the woods and things like that, as far as moving to the west coast of the United States. And our boy was talking like a boar the other night. That's a gang to me. The people who wear swastikas and things like that. So when it comes to negativity and how treating people that look like me bad, that's my experience. That's what I look at. So yeah, and to me, that's the same thing. The school shooters and the gangs, they're the same color, or the same people. I don't even want to use color. The same people to me. Like, they've always been violent, and now I have to go to school, the same school that they shoot up, and I'm already learning where they come from, which is violence. So I have a different perspective, if that makes sense. Without me being, I keep being told that somehow I'm a certain type of way I'm approaching and pulling strings, or I'm pulling cart. No, that's how I grew up. That's how I see you. I don't see you, if you've seen the movie Gummo, that's how I see America. That's how I see it. Like, I don't come from the perspective of where, and don't get it wrong. Like I grew up in a neighborhood with a fence and the nice flowers, but most of those people are insane. I grew up in some of the whitest neighborhoods ever. And those people are insane. In their gated communities, they kill each other. They're the first people that kill each other because they're not around black people. They're not around other people of color.
Well, I
They're
have
not.
a question.
Statistics would disagree.
I don't care if you disagree. I'm telling you my personal experience. You don't disagree with a person's personal experience. That's stupid.
Where did they kill
What I'm
each other
saying
in your neighborhood? Where did they kill each other in your neighborhood?
in their neighborhoods, like a white, like I had a friend, one of my good friends, his dad and uncle, they're white. They used to make fun of him because he's a ginger, which to me is racist. But they used to make fun of him and call him ginger. I didn't even know what that meant till I hung around white.
But did they kill him?
And they no. The mother killed the father because he was
Okay.
an alcoholic rapist, and which is 90% of the
Exactly.
white.
He was an alcoholic rapist, so he needed to be killed.
So okay then. So what I'm saying, that's 90% of the American white people that I know. And I'm,
You
and
know,
I'm
exactly. You need to
You're
meet
coming,
better
you're already
white people,
saying you're
dude.
coming from
well,
you're coming from a jaded point of view where you hate white people, and you've already stated.
again, I don't hate white people. Let's say that I do hate white people. You can't name anything that I've done against white people as a group, especially me as a person or as a people, that you can say that I hate white people. And let's say I do hate white people. There's nothing I've done, or you can say that I've done, except for maybe say some things that make you angry. But when it comes to other groups like the KKK and people like that, they've lynched and hung people, and there's a government that has COINTELPRO that could go out and put people against you, uplifting your own people. We've never had practice doing that as a people. So when I can say things like that, I don't feel bad about what I say. What are you talking about?
All right. Yosef, you had a question. You said.
Well, I had a joke question, but it's two questions. One is a joke. One is actually more serious. Is do you really think America have a black and a white problem, or do you think that America have a male problem? Well, every day, and I'm pretty sure you see in the black community, and you also see in the white community, is of this third wave feminism berating and belittling males as a whole. So we have a bunch of males with male suicide is on a rise in general. Um, Males homelessness on a rise in general. Where males in general in the Western world or in America just does not have really a purpose. That's why you're seeing all this crazy stuff. You remove what is essentially what is the core of being male, and you see all this craziness happen. We mess with the natural order.
You asking me or?
And I'm asking everybody. Do you might think that maybe this can be a cause, or can even if you don't answer it now, but internalize this question and come and you can come back to my channel. My channel is a lot bigger, and I'm free to my platform. Do you think that
the white male? I'm going to say the white male, and I'm going to say the ideology behind what it is to be a white male. And I've got
no. I'm saying male because even in the black community, we have a problem with the image and what is to be a black male. Like protect our females, take care of our kids, make sure our community is set. That is us. You cannot blame the white male for problems. Wait, let me finish. This is what I'm
you. No.
Hold on. Hey, Nepjar, let him finish his point, and then you go next.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I refuse to blame the white male if I fuck up, or if I'm not doing something, or I'm not taking care of my kids. I'm not going to blame the white males. I'm talking about shit that we can do as black male, little things right now to make sure that the black community as a whole, because we are supposed to be the pillar of the communities. What can we do right now as black males to make sure that the next generation can be looked out and can be nurtured? Because we are supposed to be the patriarchy or the head of the household and the head of the community to make sure to look out for our kids and our families. What can we do? And it's something. I tell white nationalists, and they agree. Like, what can you do to your young males where you can get them from the extremists and say, what can I do to be more productive for my white kids? And switch out, what can we do as black males to be more protective for my black kids? But like for me, for instance, I have my credit's good. I have a car. I'm paying off that car. But buy me a second car. I got me a house on the low. I'm fixing that house up. I hold 2 jobs. I'm saving up. I make sure right now I'm fixing the house right now to set up a nursery. I'm doing stuff to prepare for the next generation. If I don't take care of my kids, I can't blame the white man for not taking care of my kids. So my question is, what can we do as males, white or black, to make sure that the community, because I think that we have a community and an identity problem right now to really fix this problem that we're seeing. Because the thing about gang violence, I have looked at the numbers. The biggest problem in the black community is single fatherhood, and all the stats from single fatherhood household for males, not females, males have all been bad. All been bad. You're 4 times most likely to go to jail. You're more likely to drop out of school. You're more likely to get on drugs. It's all bad. So what can we do right now as male? This generation is responsible enough to say, you know what? I'm not going to make the same failures of the past. I'm going to do right now. The best thing for the black community I can do right now is be the best black male version of myself right now. Be that pillar of the community that we used to have in the past. And I say the same thing to white people or white nationalists, and they agree with me.
Let me ask you this: do you know who Dr. Amos? Do you know who Amos Wilson is?
No.
Okay. Do you know who Dr. Francis Cress Welsing is?
No.
Do you know who Dr. Neely Fuller is?
No.
And I'm going to say that's one of the problems. If you're not educated yourself as a so-called black person, for black people who have already been doing things for the last 50 years for the black community, that's probably one of the problems right there.
So me being an upstanding black male, like doing everything in my power to make sure that my kids are educated, homed, and taken care of, then I'm still a problem, even though I'm doing everything to make sure that they're outstanding.
I didn't say you were the problem, but if that's what you want to say, that's cool, because that's one of the best things, I guess, when realizing a problem is that you may be the problem. But what I'm saying is, it's simple, and it's what I just said.
Right now, you're attacking my character, and I'm trying to actually.
I didn't ask you a question.
So is America more racist now than it was in the fucking before the civil rights movement?
No, it's the same. I don't see the difference. To answer your question, sir.
Well, the statistics would say that it's gotten worse since then within the black community with fatherless homes. So what are those?
Before we move on to all that, is there anybody that want to respond to Yosef's question?
Yeah, I do. This unfuckwittable. And see, it's crucial because when you look at the history of things and kind of how they played out, I don't want to give Willie Lynch the power over, but you know, it kind of somewhat all kind of, I'm not gonna say started from there, but here in America, they utilize that same system to basically take the black man out the home. And then once you take the black man out the home, you know what I'm saying? Whether, you know, maybe he did do something and maybe he fucked up. I'm not saying that we perfect and we not out there committing crimes. I'm not saying that at all. But I am saying there have been times where, let's say, a black man may have gotten way more time than what he should have. Removing a black male, the father, out of the home creates this chain reaction, which in turn affects the whole community, because now the son grow up, he looking for a father, the mother can't raise him, you feel me? And then it's just a whole chain reaction. So I would say the solution is, just, you know, if there is a solution, just try to be the best man that you can be. You know what I'm saying? Be a good example. You know, and other than that, you know, there are times where you are trying to be a good example, and then shit happens. You know what I'm saying?
I agree with you. I agree with you. And with me, I believe that we do need some prison reform. I think that the war on drugs is highly stupid. I think they should legalize weed. I hope Trump legalize weed, make it where I can smoke, so I don't have to take a drug test. I did something at Home Depot. I'm all for this. I think the war on drugs was the worst thing that can ever happen to, not even to Black America, but to poor Americans. It was the dumbest thing that ever happened. Because this is the thing about the war on drugs. We did it again with the war on alcohol, and it didn't work. And it just didn't work. All it did, it was this break of family. That's all it did. Yes.
We had John Proby on, a couple days ago, and he made an excellent point about the lack of fatherhoods in lack of fathers in the Black community, and he said that you're having generations of men who are raised by women, and so it's feminizing Black men in this country.
True.
Well, I'm gonna switch it around a little bit. I believe you having a masculine personality with a feminine tint, and it doesn't match. You need a masculine personality with a masculine tint, and that's what's causing all this craziness right now. Because a woman can't raise a man. They can't. A man can only raise a man. A man can only make another man. A woman can't do it. I'm not knocking females down, but it can't be done.
Let somebody else respond real quick, because I'm about to shut this down pretty soon. So, anybody else with Young Fit, you want to say something about this question?
Definitely. I think we're in a society right now where women are wanting to be men and men are wanting to be women, and you have no voice into saying it because you're going to be called you're gay bashing or something of that nature. So with that being said, there's men and men raising men, and there's women and women raising men. So we're in a society right now where you can actually change your gender, and your gender can be I'm decided I'm a woman now. So what
I think we both
if I can
on that. Yeah.
If I can actually go ahead and, identify my gender, and now I'm a woman, why can't I identify my race? You know what I'm saying? So we have to have a line somewhere in our society of what's acceptable and what's not, and obviously it's not there.
Yeah, we both agree on that.
Yeah. I want to say this one stat, then I got to hop off. Is this story? It was two chimps that was in a tree, and they was both on different branches, and there was arguing who had. Hold on, let me finish the story. They was arguing who had the best branch.
Monkey stories.
Hey, so while the whole time, let me finish the story. I'm trying to be. The whole time as they arguing over who had the best branch, there's somebody down below cutting the root of the tree, which is their home. And I think right now we're arguing who have the best branch, when we need to look at the root of the real problems we have in America. There is a war on masculinity, and it is. We have to acknowledge that, because at the end of the day, even with Good Times, the lead actress had to fight to have a father on that TV show. She had to fight to get a father in that household. And literally had to fight the producers to get a black male. And every single time you see a dad on TV, he's goofy, he's stupid, he's bumbling. It's always the wife is smart, intelligent, to know everything. So it's war on masculinity. I think that we could talk about race another time, but we really have to focus on a war on masculinity. That's what we're having all these problems right now.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
Shaka Zulu, because I heard that was brought up on the other show the other night. So I'm just going to bring that person up again. Shaka Zulu was not raised by, per se, males in a sense. All he had was his mother and his grandmother, because his father was a piece of, I'm not going to say he was a piece of shit, but, he's one of those kings who's very arrogant. In fact, in a lot of cultures, I got to keep bringing up culture. I'm from a cultural background. So when the reason why I bring up culture is, no matter who's absent in your family, culturally, there's always things in place that takes accountability of what needs to be done. If you don't have a father or mother, your grandmother or somebody else raises you. If you don't have a father, you got an uncle. So in that sense, Shaka Zulu was a war. He became one of the supposedly the greatest warriors. Yeah, how did that happen? Let me finish. So he became one of the greatest warriors. There's a lot of men that's raised around warrior culture. There was warriors, there was women who were women themselves. I was raised around one of them cultures. So that doesn't matter in that culture. But in the United States, it matters because you live in a totally different atmosphere. I don't even want to use the word culture. You raise in a totally different atmosphere. So if you raise in this atmosphere, you're going to turn out a certain type of way. But in another culture, it doesn't matter if it's male or females in the house, because you're gonna get it. You're gonna be pushed to do it because culturally, that's your duty. So I'm gonna say it like that. I see it as a totally different perspective. I kind of really don't know how to answer that question in that sense, except for if I answered in if I answered in a Yankee sense, as in I have to go along with, it's a single fatherhood, single motherhood, and all that right there. To me, that's Yankeeism. That's nothing to question, because in most cultures, you're going to always be missing a father or a mother because of death, even if it's not gang activity or no matter what it is, you're going to always be missing somebody in that family. But there's always culturally some way to compensate. But if you don't have any culture, you're going to end up with this discussion, what we're doing now.
Well, if that's how you feel, but at the end of the day,
that's not how I feel. That's not my feeling. I'm telling you.
Well, that's statistically irrelevant. So it is how you feel.
Hold on. I want to say this one thing because it's ticking me off. I want to address the black people family. The thing that you do that's kind of frustrating me, and is I don't know. You used to traditional debating tactics, but were you saying, well, I don't feel this, but here go this point, I'm gonna leave it right there. Or I don't hate white people, but also I'm not gonna say I don't hate white people. So is you saying things, but you're you're absolving yourself from any criticisms by saying, I'm saying this thing, but I'm not going to defend it, nor am I saying that this is my perspective, but I'm going to bring it there. So either you're going to...
No, I just told you where I came from as far as culturally. Well, I didn't specifically tell you my culture, but I'm telling you culturally, whether you're male or female, the way you grow up is the way you grow up depending on by who you're raised by.
And
you don't have that argument.
Statistically, that has outcomes.
Yankees going to have that argument like, oh, it's the male in the house.
Statistically, that has outcomes. Right?
There's
plenty. No, I agree with you. There's plenty of individuals.
Right. So I'm gonna say in America,
there's plenty of individuals worldwide, whatever it may be. But statistically, worldwide, statistically, culturally, it doesn't matter what fucking culture you're from.
It does matter.
No, it doesn't. Statistically, if you come out of a single parent household, statistically, you have a higher proportion of ineffective problems that come proportional with that. That is a fact. Now, there are always outliers. That is not a every single case across the board. When we talk about statistics, that is not every case across the board. There are plenty of outliers. There are plenty of people that sit outside of the statistical norm. But that doesn't mean that the vast majority are not affected by those outcomes.
Do you understand I'm not talking about those people? I was specific. I said people who are raised culturally a certain way.
You literally brought up one guy.
Yeah, one person.
Yeah, for an example.
Exactly, but that doesn't mean shit
so
statistically.
You're using an outlier to buck the statistical norm?
I didn't statistics. Again, I'm not talking
about... Hey, look, check this out. We're going to wrap this up, man. Yeah, I would love to have a one-on-one with Kaiser and Neb Jari, man. I would love for y'all to have a debate more constructive where y'all could just go ahead and hash it out, man, because it sounds like, y'all got some things y'all want to get off your chest. If y'all with it, I would love to set it up, you know what I mean? Or, we could all set it up.
That would be dope.
That'd be awesome. Sounds like a plan. I appreciate you having us on.
Some good moderators.
It was.
I want to meet face to face.
Hallie, it was definitely a good time.
You guys are trying to go viral with this, man.
I'm trying to meet face to face.
That would be
we're not trying to meet no face to face.
That would be a bad mistake.
I am. I am.
That'd be the last mistake you ever made. But anyway, Hallie, I appreciate you. I appreciate you having us on, brother. We're gonna call it a night. And I appreciate everybody else for coming on. I appreciate the constructive conversation. And
in the jar, you heard these dudes. They said they gun owners, man, and they willing to stand their ground.
Damn right.
Yeah, we're all gun owners.
Every day, all day.
I'm gonna say this. I think every single black person who can get a gun legally should get a gun.
Damn right.
Damn.
Sure they should.
He had like 10 guns over
I'm
there.
sorry.
Of course they should.
You print guns now.
Of course they should.
You get a low receiver.
That goes without saying. But anyway, let's not carry this on too far. Hallie, I appreciate you having us on. We're going to call it a night
like,
for
share,
Verbo
and subscribe.
Tempestas. Yeah. Like, share, subscribe. Check out the Say That channel. You guys go check them out. And I appreciate the constructive criticism and the constructive conversation. And we'll
no doubt, man. I appreciate everybody.
All right.
Yeah, appreciate y'all having on. Appreciate y'all being on. Thanks for joining, man. I'll catch y'all next time. We're going to have to keep it going, man. I think this is going to be a heavy topic. We just got to,
there's
keep
plenty
it organized.
Plenty of meat on the bone.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
All right, y'all. Stay blessed, man.
Y'all have a good night. Later.